got to watch her grow through her years here at Gulfway High School. She was the Eagle mascot. She was recognized by the Lions Honor Group. She was a member of the Golden Eagle Band. She participated in sports. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Janet Heismann.
Hello. Most of you probably don't remember me, and that's quite okay. Like Ms. Wesson said, I'm an alumnus of the class of 2006, and this is the first time in 4 years that I have set foot on this campus, and it's really cool. My name is Janet Heismann, like Ms. Wesson said, and I was formerly known as Janet Juseler. In 1987 I was born, and in 1989 I was put in foster care, and ever since then I grew up in the foster care system. For those of you who don't understand exactly what that is, I wasn't with my biological family. I was moved around. I lived in 25 different homes by the time I was 18, and I pretty much raised myself. My senior year in high school, well, we'll go back a little bit. I never knew my family, and I always wanted to look for my mom, and the foster people that I lived with said they would look for her, and they spent 3 years, and they never found her. So I was a little discouraged, and then in my senior year, I was working at Subway, and I had just moved out of my foster home and decided to do independent living, and my judge said I could go live wherever I wanted to because I was a good kid and never got in trouble. So I chose to do that. In November of 2005, I started looking for my mom. Within 2 weeks, we found her on classreunion.com, and I called her on December 6, 2005. It was very emotional and very crazy, and you can ask Ms. Wesson and Ms. Melton and probably Ms. Bradley and Ms. Holtzclaw. I brought pictures with me and said, "This is my mom," and they're like, "Yeah, there's no denying that fact." And we decided to have a party in May, the day before I graduated high school, and I got to meet my mom for the first time in 18 years. It was very, very emotional. It was very scary for me because I didn't know what she wanted from me, and I didn't really know what I wanted from her. As an 18-year-old, you're pretty much grown, and there's not really much else your parents can do growing-wise, but there's still a lot they can do for you emotionally and spiritually, and so I met her and hated her. She came in and everybody else was dressed up. She was in tennis shoes and blue jeans and a t-shirt, and just, I was embarrassed that that's how my town that I grew up in was meeting my mom. And so I went off to college and had to overcome a whole bunch of adversity. I have been physically abused, I've been emotionally abused, and I've been sexually abused twice. And that's something really hard to get over when you're a freshman in college starting out. I went there, I had no friends, I had no support system, I had nobody, I was on my own. But for that Thanksgiving, I went with people from my church, and I said, "Can I please come to Thanksgiving with you? I don't have anywhere to go. I don't want to be by myself." They said, "Yes, you can come with us. You're a part of my family. You can come eat with us." And I went there for 3 years and ate with them. By the next summer, I went off to a church camp, or not a church camp, a summer camp, and I worked the entire summer there. And my counselors and stuff that were co-leading with me had experience in psychology and had experience growing up with their family, and they too had overcome adversity. And they said, Janet, you need to call your mom. You need to mend things with her because she loves you. She's your mom. She doesn't know really how to be a mom to a grown woman. She's never had a grown woman. Call her up. So I called my mom and I asked her what she wanted from me, what I could do to help her, and we talked about what she could do to help me. Then in September, I received my records from the state of Texas saying exactly why I was taken away. And they found me as a baby in a room, cockroaches and all kinds of bugs, with an 88-year-old who was in a wheelchair. On the floor was a bottle that was 4 weeks old, if not more. I hadn't had a diaper change in probably a week. My teeth were really messed up, and the state said, we're taking not just this kid, but your other 2 kids, and they took us, and we started in foster care. So I asked my mom, so Mom, what were you thinking? Like, what was it like? And she couldn't tell me, and she told me that's not what happened, and there was other stuff that happened. And I said, well, it doesn't match up. These are the records. These are what the state found. You know, a judge saw this. He went into the house and saw this. You know, they're not going to lie. So tell me the truth. She couldn't do it. So the next Thanksgiving, we were talking with this same family that I'd spent Thanksgiving before, and they said, you know, God heals everything, and He can take everything you've been through, and He can heal you, and He can heal your mom. So why don't you try forgiving your mom and calling your mom up and see if you can go out there and meet your dad and your little brother and your little sister that you've never met. And I said, why? Why should I care? I've cared for so long and they've done nothing. And they said, because God cares. And He's put you back in contact with them for a reason. And so I said, okay. The next day I called my dad and I said, I want to come home for Christmas. It'll be a month. I know that's scary and that's crazy, but I want to give it a try. If I want to go home, I will jump back on a plane and I'll fly back to Texas and that'll be it. Well, they called me 10 hours after they told me that they would have an answer to me by. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I've messed up another family. I'm not going to have anybody. I'm on my own. And I was okay with that. Then I got a phone call and my dad says, when are you coming? When are you leaving? How long are you staying? And send us the flight details. It's going to be really cold, so this is what you need to pack. I said, okay. For the next 3 weeks, I called my mom every day saying, what's the weather like? What all do I need to bring? What are we going to be doing for the whole month that I'm there? And I got ready. And I got on a plane for the first time and flew all the way to Ohio, and I got off. Felt like it was a mile to the gate. It's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? This is so crazy. Have I done something wrong? Did I make the right decision? How am I going to know? What is it going to be like? And going through all these scenarios. Finally, I said, okay, Janet, you've got to stop. You can't prepare anymore. You just got to take a leap of faith. And I saw my mom, and she was crying. My little brother, my little sister was right there with her, and my dad was in the Air Force, and he was a macho man, like, nothing can stop him. He's cool. And so it's like, okay, I can do this. And I gave my mom a hug, and my little brother and my little sister looked up to me. They were 5 and 9 at the time and said, we love you. We're so glad you're here. I started crying, and I told my family, take my bags. I'm going to wait over here until my luggage comes off the train, or the little belt thing. I said, I need space. It was probably 15 degrees outside, like it is now. Snow on the ground. I'm in wind pants and Crocs, because I'm from Texas. And I'm like, oh, it's cold, Okay. Luckily, I had some boots in my bag, and I said, okay, I'm going to have to put these boots on. And do y'all have a coat? Because my little jacket that works in Texas isn't going to work here. It's too cold. And luckily, they're like, yeah, you're probably not going to have a jacket. So they gave me a jacket and got in the van, and we went to a Texas Longhorns dinner. It's like Texas Roadhouse kind of. And we ate there, and my dad was he was amazing. I'll be honest, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have anything to do with my family. But he took me in, he walked me through everything.